This is the Red Pill at the Red Pill News Dispensary. How you doing, guys? Alright, so tonight's show is going to be about the border crisis, and also I'm going to take some calls. So let's jump right into it, huh? Alright. So, first, I'm going to pull up what I need to pull up. Alright. By the way, guys, I hope this is the thumbnail. For some reason, like the thumbnail, you know, I make these thumbnails and they don't always show up. So I'm kind of curious if anyone could let me know if that's the thumbnail or not. I'd appreciate it. I want to get right into this though. All right. Let me see. Yeah. All right. It is. Alright, so anyways, okay. By the way, on YouTube, if you guys want to find me on YouTube, it's the Red Pill News Dispenser. And here's here's some more information, by the way. So here's my emails. You know, Red Pill News Dispensary. Here's my email for like regular type of stuff, sensitive intel. The Red Pill is not new, it should be news. I forgot to change that. Twitter, the Red Pill News Dispenser. And if you want to donate, either donate through PayPal, which is right here, or during the live stream. There's always the ability to do the what's it called? What was that thing called? The chat. The super chat. Okay. Alright, so now that that's done, let's get into this story. Alright. Alright, so there's a couple stories that I'm going to come back to here. But I want to go over, so basically I'm going to start from the bottom up. Yeah. So we all saw this picture. It's a horrible picture. But if you guys were with me a few nights ago, now the thing that made this a huge picture, that had the progressives in the house on the house floor acting ridiculous and you know, being very dramatic. But then they don't mention how just 2 days before, on the bank of the Rio, on our side, there was a 20-year-old woman. All right, you know, this just like gets to me. There was a 20-year-old woman just a few days ago with her toddler and 2 infants dead. Okay, that was tough for me to get through that story. If you look back, you'll see it's like 2 or 3 shows ago. Alright, you know, when I did that show, that was a tough show to get through. And this is a horrible, horrible, horrible situation as well. It's just, you know, I just think that, you know, because there was no photo, I mean, because that's pretty gruesome, not to say that this isn't. But, you know, supposedly the father got his daughter over, but she's only 23 months old, you know, she doesn't know any better. He goes back to get his wife, and as he's getting his wife, everyone stopped yelling because his daughter was scared and tried to jump in the water after, you know, because her father left it there. And then he swam back to get her, the tide took both of them, and this is how they found them. And things like this happen all the time. When I was doing the research on the babies and the toddler, I mean, had there been a picture, I definitely couldn't have been able to do that story. Okay, so yeah, had there been a picture of that, yeah, that would have really. But no one mentions that. No one talks about that. I heard it mentioned by one of them, but the reality is that the Republicans have been dying for them to get a deal done. Yet, like, I don't know how the Democrats pull this crap off. I mean, I guess it's when you have the media on your side, I guess it's easier to do. But the same thing as like the DACA kids, the Dreamers. The Republicans actually had something in place to help the Dreamers. And had the Democrats just signed on back then, it would have saved a lot of what's going on now. And they didn't. And they screwed the Dreamers. And a lot of the Dreamers kind of caught that. And they realized Dreamers aren't too fond of the Democratic Party, I'll tell you that. Because of that. Same thing with this situation. Okay? I couldn't believe when they had the Homeland Security, the head of the what was it though? It's not Homeland Security, but he was being questioned. He's the head of something to do with the border. Not Homeland Security. I can't think of it right now, but he has like an Irish name, like anyways. So they were kind of like gashing at him, like making it seem like it was his fault that all these people came to the border. When in reality, the Democrats and people who support the Democrats, like, I don't know, George S., he decided that he was going to fund. That first caravan was fully funded by him. I don't want to misquote and say fully. I'm sure there's other, but he was a majority funder in that. And there was all kinds of propaganda down where they live. Like we had heard someone say that the average American makes more in a week than a doctor makes in a day. An average American makes more in a day than a doctor makes in a week. I find it hard to believe. I'd like to fact check that actually. That just makes I doubt that that's true, because the average American doesn't make much. The average American, like you take the top 50 and the bottom 50 and then boom. Anyway, so now on this, same exact thing. The Republicans have been dying to make a deal. Now a deal that doesn't even have to include the wall. And the Democrats haven't come around until, the story, I couldn't believe it. I said it when I reported the story with the 2 dead babies, an infant and the 20-year-old mother, that I thought, then this is going to be huge news in the morning. But it just wasn't. There was no picture to go along with it. And that's just the way our world has become. If there's no picture, we don't care. It's like it didn't happen. Not to say that this isn't just as horrible, but more lives, younger lives. This would be considered a toddler, So basically, this 20-year-old had a toddler and also 2 babies. It's all bad. It's all bad. And now the Democrats all of a sudden want to cry, and not bash this guy that was trying to get funding to prevent things like this. All right, it's not the centers that are like killing people. All right, those centers are some of the best living conditions that these migrants have had in a long time, especially after that journey. It just pisses me off that the Democrats take everything and they take a crisis and use it, when in reality they've been the one that's been holding back. Because I remember the dollar amounts, and they were like, "Well, how'd you come to that number?" What about that? We don't want to pay all that. Then all of a sudden, this picture comes out, and a picture is worth $1,000, and apparently, a picture is also worth $4.5 billion. So they did not die in vain, but at the same time, it's too little, too late for their lives. It's too little, too late for that 20-year-old. Her toddler, and her 2 babies, and the countless others. here it is right here. House passes 4.5 billion emergency fund bill for migrant care crisis. House looks set to pass emergency funding bill for migrants. You know why? Because the Senate had already had passed this. It's mostly Republican. They passed it because the Republicans have been the one trying to pass this. And now, after a picture like that and a story like that, where you could just see it, like he leaves and a 23-month-old, gets scared, and you could just picture it. My daughter's close to that age, and then they pass it. That's how they are. I just don't know how people don't see it. I don't understand how the left doesn't see it. I live in Massachusetts. Trust me, I ask myself this question about a million things a day. A million different things a day. Alright, so also, let's see. So we'll get to some of these other stories. Now here's this a-hole. Now this is from CNN, take it with a grain of salt. But supposedly Ken Cuccinelli blames drowned man in border photograph for own death and his daughter's death as well. What a ass, right? And he's the acting director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. I mean, did he really say that? Because, the father was going back. But maybe what he said was, it's a tough journey. I like to see what he said. I like to see how CNN is. Yes, that most people, they only read a headline. You know what I mean? They don't actually read a story. So we don't do that here, especially when the headline is kind of, it's so unbelievable that you almost have to make sure that they're, reporting it correctly. And these days, reporting is the headline. Alright, so Acting Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Ken Cuccinelli, blamed the father in the now infamous photograph of the drowned man and his daughter at the southern border for both of their deaths. When asked by CNN's Aaron Burnett on Thursday whether he was concerned that the photo would become emblematic of the administration's immigration policy, which is, again, bold. That's not what it's about. It's emblematic of Mexico's failure to stop these people before they make this treacherous journey and try to cross these rivers. How is this any different than if what would happen during Obama's era? You know what I mean? What's the answer? What should Trump have done different? Said, hey, you know what, guys? Let's open the gates. Everybody, come in. Africa, Asia, Vietnam, the poorest countries in the world. Everybody, come in. Come on. Plenty for all. Free health care. Free welfare. Free food stamps. Anything you want. Come on in. Fuck that. Come on. Let's be realistic. I wish that everybody could have enough. I really do. But if we want to have a country, that's not how it's going to work. People have to go through the process, and then we can actually take some people and help them and get them out of a bad situation. But a lot of these people are felons. A lot of them have bad backgrounds. A lot of them are bringing drugs. We have to be careful. The biggest problem this country has right now, at least in my neck of the woods, is drugs. And it's all coming over that border. We need some kind of security around our borders. We need a secure border for so many reasons. I mean, it's just foolish. It's just foolish. By the way, did you guys see Democratic debate? I didn't watch last night's. I only watched the who they said won and lost. I actually watched it, and I got news for you. Trump 8 more years. Unless like I said, I made a prediction. If Jon Stewart gets on that stage, you might have a formidable opponent. Other than that, I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. Not even a little bit. Not even a little. Their front runner right now is what, Biden? No. Actually, I think it's switched now. Now it's not Biden. It's oh, who cares? Who cares? It's just gonna switch, kind of like the Republican Party one did, except there was one huge personality, and in today's age with the internet, that huge personality that knows how to zing and knows how to get under people's skin and knows how to like it is kind of like funny at the same time. Like, I mean, someone like Jon Stewart could do it. I mean, so far, I mean, helping the 9/11 victims, helping veterans. I like those two things. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it would be. He'd have to do a lot more for me to ever even consider. Actually, basically, no matter what, my vote goes to Trump. Just, unless, I found out something, and Jon Stewart happened to be, continuing to be what he seems to be. That's the only way. The reason we have tragedy like the border is because those folks, that father didn't want to wait to go through the asylum process in a legal fashion, and so decided to cross the river. Well, that is wrong to say. But if it was me, now I can't speak because I wasn't in this guy's shoes, but if it was me, I don't know if I, my 23-month-old, and then swim back from my way and leave her on a bank where the currents are so strong like that. I don't know. I don't know if that would be worth it for me. But then again, you don't know what type of hell they were living. But then again, you know what would stop this? Lindsey Graham's idea. Have at every embassy that's where they go to file for asylum, and then they go through the process for asylum. I mean, if they just can't do it the right way, which I thought, I'm like, what is it like? It seems like impossible. It was like 10 years. I talked to someone. They're like, no, it's like 2.5 years. 2.5 years. That's reasonable. So what else do we got? Let me get to some of these other stories. Oh, look at this. So, speaking of the Rio Grande, a contract awarded for new border wall project in the Rio Grande Valley. One of the most important spots. So, let's see. And this just broke, by the way. This just broke. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, in partnership with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which is exactly what Q said would happen, has awarded a contract to construct approximately 4 miles of new border wall system consisting of 4 segments, located just south of Rio Grande City and Lagulla, within U.S. Border Patrol's Rio Grande Valley sector in Starr County, Texas. The contract for this project was awarded on June 26, 2019 to Southwest Valley Constructors for the amount of $33,048,700, and construction is anticipated to begin as early as November 2019. The project includes the construction of an 18 to 30 foot tall steel bollards in addition to road construction, detection technology, and lightning installation. Let me just vote real quick. Why'd I do that? Alright. 81% say no. Not sure, 1%. How could you not be sure? 18% yes. Now what is this? And this isn't even a, this is like a neutral site. So, ooh. This project is funded by CBP's fiscal year 2019 appropriation. And that's what they were just working on when Pelosi was in her yellow jacket. She had just finished being up all night working on all the appropriation money. It is not a project undertaken pursuant to the National Emergency Declaration, nor does it draw from any source of funding, including appropriations available to the Department of Defense or the Department of Treasury. This project is not located in any of the communities that require additional consultation with local Stark County elected officials per the FY19 appropriations. RGV, the Rio Grande Valley, by the way, that's what it stands for, is the busiest sector in the nation and accounts for more than 40% of the illegal alien apprehensions. It's also where all of these drownings are occurring. More than 43% of the seized marijuana in the southwest border for the fiscal year to date, and is second in seized cocaine. I want to know where all the heroin is coming in, because that's the killer. Those other two, they don't kill. Marijuana, I don't see a problem with. Cocaine, it ruins lives. But heroin, it kills. There's no coming back. The RGV accounts for a large percentage of the southwest border illegal alien apprehensions and narcotic seizures, and the majority of its activity is occurring in areas where RGV has limited infrastructure, access, and mobility and technology. CBP continues to implement President Trump's Executive Order 13767, also known as Border Security and Immigration Enforcement Improvements, taking steps to expeditiously plan, design, and construct a physical wall using appropriate materials and technology to most effectively achieve operational control of the southern border. Alright, so basically that's what I wanted to get out there, that there is some big money being spent, and that wall is being put up. Also, I wanted to also make sure that I put it out there that, you know, as horrible as that photo is, you know, only a couple days prior, there was an even more heart-wrenching story, just minus the photo, I guess. And just to get you guys up to speed on what's going on at the border. And also, most importantly, I would say, that finally, the Democrats, even though they're the ones claiming, you know, the Trump administration's at fault and we have no choice but to pass this, when in reality, the Senate passed it like nothing, and it was the House that they were worried about. And it probably would have never passed had it not been for that photo. That's how the Democrats operate. Never waste a good crisis. A tragedy. A good tragedy. You know, I don't mean a good, you know, I think you guys catch my drift. Alright, now some of these other stories that, you know, I wanted to bring up. So, U.S. North Korea in talks to set up third Trump-Kim summit. Now we know that they've been writing letters back and forth. Kim actually wrote the latest letter was from Kim to Trump on his birthday, and it was supposed to be a good letter that made this third summit seem promising. Now, had Hillary been elected, I guarantee you, and the Trump says it all the time, we'd be at war with North Korea. Then we'd be at war with Iran. Alright. Virginia cardiologist shot dead on vacation in Belize. I think there's more to this story. Oh man, they took it down. Oh. Well, I think there's more to that story, by the way. Okay. Tax-exempt American organizations recruit spies for Israel. Let me say that again. Tax-exempt American organizations recruit spies for Israel. I wonder which ones those are. Now, mind you, this comes from the Russia Insider, so take some things with a grain of salt. But I tell you guys all the time, sometimes when you read news from Russia, you read news from all sides. You know, that's why I don't mind reading some CNN, some stuff. You might get a little bit of truth you might not hear on Fox News. Fox News, you might get some truth you're not going to hear on CNN. You watch some Russian, you read a Russian story, you got to be careful, but you're going to catch some truth in there. You know, even if you read news from Iran, you'll catch some truth in there. You just have to kind of spot the propaganda, and then kind of spot the truth. And I'll do my best to help in that way. So, okay. Israel never loses an opportunity to promote what it perceives to be its interests. Now that's true, but that's propaganda as well. That any nation would do just that most of the time should surprise no one, but Israel is perhaps unique in terms of how assiduously it works at creating situations that favor it through the use of corruption of foreign governments and subversion of existing institutions. For most countries, the actions of a minority that seeks to advance the interests of a foreign nation would face strong resistance. But Israel manages to get away with what it does due to the presence of powerful and wealthy diaspora communities, and most particularly in the Anglophone countries, but also in France. The Israel lobby in the United States has been subjected to some scrutiny thanks largely to the impetus provided by Professors John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt's groundbreaking study, The Israel Lobby in U.S. Foreign Policy. More recent revelations have come from undercover journalism undertaken by Al Jazeera, which has demonstrated how British Jewish groups and parliamentarians have worked together with Israeli embassy intelligence offices to remove public officials believed to be critical of Israel. Well, it is kind of true. What's the one thing you can't talk about? Yep. And whoever they say, whoever you can't talk about is usually the one that owns your ass. Jeremy Corbyn, leader of the Labour Party, has been on the receiving end of a campaign to replace him for his alleged anti-Semitism solely because he has condemned Israeli opposition to the Palestinians. The second Al Jazeera investigation demonstrated how the lobby, cooperating with the Israeli Assembly Embassy, has been controlling discussion in the Middle East and the United States, which should have surprised no one. Now, you can see a lot of propaganda in the middle there. Truth in the beginning, truth in the end, that last line at least, and a lot of propaganda in the middle. Now, the word propaganda doesn't exactly mean not true. It just means like overemphasized, basically. I mean, it doesn't mean that, but think of it as like them overemphasizing the truth. Europe indeed appears to be a hotbed of anti-Semitism, or so Israel and its friends would have us to believe. Leaders in France, Germany, and Britain feel compelled to frequently address the issue, making the equivalent of a war on anti-Semitism a principal objective of a government. The United States has joined the effort, appointing a special convoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, whose job includes reporting other countries' treatment of Jews in Israel. The newest wrinkle comes under the category of lawfare. It consists of hate crime laws that are directed against anyone criticizing Jews and increasingly Israel. Oof. In fact, any criticism of Israel is frequently being seen as a criminal offense, a trend that is also evident in the United States at the national, state, and local levels, where Jewish groups have also have also been quick off the mark in claiming that anti-Semitism is surging. Freedom of the speech in the Western world has been diminishing as a result. Some truth to that as well. It's a long article. I just want to see I just want to know so it looks like what they're actually talking about as far as the trip organized by Our Soldiers Speak left a deep impression on the visiting service members who hail from West Point Military Academy. So basically that's what it comes down to. It seems they're making it seem as if this Our Soldiers Speak had a bunch of West Point, who's the future officers of the Army, and they, kind of really had an impact on them in the interest of, having them be pro-Israel and anti-Semitism. So we have Mike Pompeo's there, annual military, and they got the menorah in the background. Annual grad student tour, that's for West Point, Legal Initiatives, Stanford Law School, so you can go around to some of the best countries, OSS Elite Policy Briefing. Now I agree, this is something to look out for. We've always had a strong relationship with Israel, and that's not just because of Jews, that's because there's some shared interest with Christians. Basically, all of the Christians that have come before now in politics, a lot of them, in a way, they're trying to bring about end days. They're trying to, set things in motion where it will fulfill Bible prophecy, and that's exactly what we are seeing now. This president actually took the step of, declaring Jerusalem the capital. So yes, here's just a little bit look into that. If you guys want to check it out, Our Soldiers Speak. It seems to be obviously funded by Israel. Annual Israel delegations. To schedule your presentation for all the inquiries. Facebook account, thank you for your contact. So that's what that is. Alright. Man gets life sentence for abusing multiple kids and teens for years. This is pretty bad. I was reading this earlier. According to court records, in February 2017, 16-year-old female reported to law enforcement that Rice had sexually abusing her since she was approximately 6 years of age, and Protector Jeremiah disclosed that Rice on multiple occasions transported her from Arkansas to the state of Texas and sexually abused her while there. One specific incident verified by law enforcement involved sexual abuse of the minor female by Rice when she was 9 years of age. This guy's a creep. Additionally, while investigating the case, law enforcement located an adult male who stated that when he was a minor, Rice likewise sexually abused him. So I guess male or female for this guy. Specifically, the adult male disclosed that when he was approximately 15 years of age, Rice transported him from Arkansas to Texas, kind of the same thing, and performed oral sex on him while there. This case is a great reminder of the important work that we do in our office and the great mission that we undertake here to ensure that justice is achieved, said Keys. This is especially true for these victims, who are among the most vulnerable members of our society. Rice was indicted by a grand jury in August 2018. In February 2019, Rice pleaded guilty to transporting both minors from Arkansas to state of Texas for sexually abusing them. So, good luck in jail, buddy. Ain't gonna be nice. Nor should it be. Oh, and here's another thing. I meant to read this when I was talking about the border. Here's a hero. Here's a true hero. Alright? There would have been another dead young migrant. And this is what I mean. This has to stop. This has to stop. And it's not Trump's fault. Not at all. U.S. Border Patrol agents assigned to the Eagle Pass South Station Marine Unit saved the life of an undocumented immigrant teen after he and his family, all from Honduras, attempted to cross the Rio Grande River again, same one, Tuesday afternoon. Words cannot express my gratitude nor convey the sense of pride I have for these agents, said Del Rio Sector Chief Patrol Agent Raul L. Ortiz. Without a doubt, their quick, life-saving actions brought this young man back from the brink of death. On June 25th, Border Patrol agents performing maritime operations in the Rio Grande observed two individuals struggling to stay afloat near the Eagle Pass port of entry. As agents moved to assist, they saw a third person a short distance downstream, submerged beneath the surface and unmoving. Agents moved closer and pulled the lifeless teen aboard their vessel. The 13-year-old male was unconscious and not breathing, and had been underwater for more than a full minute. The vessel commander quickly performed CPR, assisted by the vessel's crewmen. Through the agent's efforts, the teen eventually coughed up water, began breathing on his own, and regained consciousness. The other two people, later determined to be rescued, the rescued teen's parents, were recovered from the river, and all were brought safely to the U.S. shore. Border Patrol EMT agents were on scene and evaluated the family of three until EMS personnel arrived. They transported the teenage male, accompanied by his mother, to a local hospital for advanced care. After being medically cleared, the family was taken to the Eagle Pass South Station, where they were processed per CPB guidelines. So, that's a hero. By the way, this just happened. Here is Trump. Here's actually the official beginning, and Trump was the first one out. This is in, I believe, Osaka. Osaka, Japan. It's the G20 summit. Big deal. Big deal. And with being such good close allies with Abe, obviously, he was the first one out there. Sorry guys, have to do that. Boss. Alright, so let's see. Fact check. Bernie Sanders claimed that 3 people have more wealth than the bottom half of U.S. You know, I want to take a poll. Who thinks that's true and who thinks that's bull? Let's take a poll. So basically the question is, do the top 3 people in the U.S. have more wealth than the bottom half of the U.S. combined? That means 50% of the country. You know, with the bottom half. The bottom 50%, but all put together. And people didn't believe it. They're like, there's no way, and there might be a reason for that, but what do you guys think? Is that true or false? I just want to do a little live interaction with you guys on that. So the question is, Bernie Sanders claimed that 3 people in the U.S. have more wealth than the bottom half of the U.S. citizens. True or false? So just put that in the comment section and let's check it out. Alright, I got 1 true. Like if you took everybody by wealth from top to bottom, the bottom 50%. Oh, 1 true. Oh, I didn't see the 2 falses. I'm sorry. It was already. I didn't see any falses. Drop. I don't see any false. I don't see anyone who said false. That was funny as well. Alright, so it looks like Majestic one, true or false? Oh wait, he says it right here. Majestic one says probably close to true. So that's a true. True from draw. True. 1. Okay, yeah, 1 true, 2 false. That works too. So there's another true. Oh, I get it. I just figured it out just as you put that. I was like, where's the 2 falses? So it looks like we have like 4 trues or something like that. And you're all right. That's true. So let's pull that up. I mean, I thought it was pretty. That's what I thought too. I was like, really? People were that surprised by that? Like, do they even? I mean, I guess us, like, we understand, like, the Rothschilds, the bankers. I mean, you know how much money they really are worth. It's ridiculous. So, so yeah, it's Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett. Sorry, I don't know what that sound. I'm gonna do this quick. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett had more combined wealth than the 160 million people on the lower rungs of the wealth ladder.
There are 23 candidates running in the Democratic primary for president. That's a lot.
Alright. Now this is good. Undercover video shows Google exec warning over next Trump situation. So secret footage shows Google's head of responsible innovation. So that's high up. So let's look at this story. It is Daily Mail, but doesn't mean it's not legit. I mean, so I can read the story, but I wanted to show you guys the video first. There's a video here. Oh, this is one of those websites where games. By the way, Project Veritas are the ones who I'm gonna have to pause this throughout, but hopefully you guys can hear it. Oh, this is slow. And we are on, I am on Google, so you would think that they would make this ridiculously slow.
Our small business is our stamp on the world. That's
Hopefully
why
it'll catch
Prairie
up here.
City Business Advantage
I
Podcast.
need to get a couple of water.
Select card. With this card, every dollar we spend on our business becomes miles we can use for adventures of our own.
Google's power has become a political issue, with politicians on both sides of the aisle debating whether antitrust legislation or other regulations and controls are in order.
We got called before the Congress multiple times and we were not showing because we were like, we just know they're going to just attack us. Like, we're not going to take your, we're not going to take your money.
Oh, they're not showing up on
They're being
purpose.
attacked for something that we know we're not going to take. It's like, actually,
Are you kidding me? What just happened? You gotta be kidding me here. How did that happen? Mind you, I am on Google, so I bet you they don't like that story.
changing. And we also have to be aware of what they're doing and what they're accusing us of. Like I said, like, they could just, like, if they weren't even like over, or she's also saying, like, you just have to break with Google and that will solve everything.
You have to what?
Elizabeth Warren is saying that we should break with Google. I'm like, I know her, but she's very misguided. Like, that will not make it better, it'll make it worse, because they will be smaller companies who don't have the same resources that
Sorry, I have to pause. In fact, it might actually help. So far she's even saying, like, I love Elizabeth Warren, but even she's saying we need to break up Google. And that they didn't even go to the Senate hearing, like when they were summoned, when they were subpoenaed to a Senate hearing, because they know they were just going to be attacked. So it started up again.
we do will be charged with preventing the next situation. Like, it's not
Oh, that was the big one. They'll be charged. They're saying Google will be basically the ones in charge of stopping another Trump situation. In other words, him getting reelected. So if you haven't noticed, for any of you people on the right being shadow banned and, you know, having your videos demonetized before it even finishes, and, you know, just kind of being attacked because of your political views, well, look no further than Google. And you know, if you think of other companies, a lot of companies are under Google. So, you know, YouTube, all these companies, Snapchat. I mean, I doubt a lot of you use Snapchat, but, you know, a lot of these platforms are under Google. So let's continue.
Right now there's a lot of chatter in Washington, D.C., antitrust discussions, legislation, breaking up Google. How do your bosses or the people that you work with inside of Google feel about that?
For the most part, they're ignoring it. To them, it's not even happening. They don't see it as a real threat because it's something that's already happened before in the past. She just said what Google's really thinking, and they won't say in public. But she just said, you know, what a lot of us see and know to be true. And you guys just got her. She just said the truth. They're not an objective piece. They're not an objective source of information. They are a highly biased political machine that is bent on never letting somebody like Donald Trump come to power again.
Alright, so that's that. Alright, so.
I got the cops on me.
Alright. Another story that was pretty interesting. Where is it? How can the U.S. avoid war with Iran? Like they know, the experts at Yahoo. Relationship to come on, I want to get to it. How can they? Didn't even say it, that's it. What a BS line. They put that as a line, and then they just basically just tell us what we already know. The relationship isn't going so well. Oh my. Okay. Alright, oh, I like this one. Trump claims without evidence Mueller terminated FBI texts, and that's a crime. So, this could be interesting. This will get the Q crowd really going. So Trump claims without evidence.
The holiday weekend is here, and so is the Nissan July 4th sales event. Save big on Rogue. With intelligent all-wheel drive. Plus, save on our full SUV lineup.
Special counsel Robert Mueller. You know what, we don't need, this isn't even a real video. So President Trump on Wednesday claimed without evidence that former special counsel Robert Mueller terminated records of communication between FBI agents who exchanged text messages during the campaign and Mueller's investigation. Mueller terminated them illegally. He terminated all of the emails, the president said in an interview with Fox Business host Maria Bartiromo. Robert Mueller terminated their text messages together. He terminated them. They're gone. And that's illegal. That's a crime. Republican says the text shows that Peter Strzok, the Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence, and Lisa Page, an FBI attorney who was romantically involved with Strzok, were biased against Trump. The president charged in a tweet last year that 19,000 demanded text messages between Peter Strzok and his FBI lover Lisa Page were purposely and illegally deleted, a claim that was debunked by PolitiFact. The messages, which could not immediately retrieved owing to a glitch in the archiving system, have since been recovered, and some of them were published last year by the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Trump, though, suggested that there are more that have yet to be released. These are sick people, he said. Wow, that's something that Q says all the time, word for word. Q says that all the time. I always leave the door open for Q a little bit. You know, I do think there's a chance he's AI, but we'll see. He's definitely not some loser like the guy from Wyoming who keeps trying to call and just say the N-word. I don't know what's that about. He's definitely not one of those guys. Wait till you see the rest of it. Because, you know, what they're trying to do is, like, get me going. You know, because they know that, like, I'll go at it with anybody. But, you know, I'm starting to realize that it's not worth it. Because it ends up making me having to edit the show. You know, like, the show ends up not getting promoted. So, these are people who don't want my channel being promoted on YouTube. I figured that out. So instead of fighting with them, especially when it's so obvious, this guy calls from the same number, but they'll call from all kinds of different numbers. It's called, there's a name for it, but you can call from all these different states. Anyways, Trump's comments come a day after Mueller agreed to testify before the House and Judiciary Intelligence Committees on July 17th in an open session. I have been attacked for 2.5 years with a phony, dishonest, crooked group of people in intelligence agencies and beyond that have been doing nothing but attacking your president. I have fought through that, and now I hear Mueller going to go in yet again. I mean, how many times are we going to go through this? From the day I came into office, they hit me with a phony deal, he said. Mueller's 2-year investigation concluded the Russian government interfered in the 2016 election in sweeping and systematic fashion. The Mueller report, released in April, found no conspiracy between the Trump campaign. We know the rest. So basically, there's a lot more coming out about Mueller and you know, some dirty stuff out there on him. And I can't wait to hear this. Like basically, he tried to like cover up some of the unreleased struck page text, which would be bad news for Mueller. That would be interfering in his own investigation. I mean, that's like bad on so many levels. Alright guys, so that's what I got for you. I just basically wanted to kind of talk about the border crisis, and I'm going to open up the phone lines. So let me put it in chat. Whoa, what happened to all the viewers? Oh, I could guess. You know what? I just got breaking news of a huge story, or at least a very interesting story that's very current. It's going on the other side of the world during the day. So until someone calls, I'm going to go over that. It's a big story. This just came in from a source that keeps their eyes on what's going on, because basically, you know, when it's nighttime for us like this, it's daytime for them. You know, a lot of our enemies. So here it is. So you're looking at it. This is when I keep on talking about, how there's this like alliance forming against us, and this isn't all of them. I mean, I can tell. But so who do we got in this picture? Does it say? I know 3 of them. Wait, hold on, let's see. Okay, Russian President Vladimir Putin has spoken of the global economic situation and how the BRICS major emerging economies can join their forces to ensure it transforms into a more stable and fair model. The situation in the global economy is disturbing. Putin told the leaders of Brazil, India, China, and South Africa. So I know that before, with the whole BRICS thing, that was basically those countries. But now it looks like it's expanded beyond those countries. That Russia. That's what BRICS stands for: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That's what it stands for. Now that's kind of like old news a little bit. And they're all gathered at the G20 summit, and but there's been some other people who kind of come on their side, like Iran, obviously, so China's in there. Oh, believe it or not, with India in there, Pakistan, Turkey. These types of countries. I say like the best way to tell if a country is, if there was a World War III, if a country was going to be on one side or the other, is what missile defense system they buy. Do they buy the Patriot missile defense system, or the THAAD, or do they buy the S-400? Lately, countries like Turkey bought the S-400. A lot of countries that we thought were our friends are now not becoming our allies. We thought that they were our allies, turning out to be working with our enemies. Now, that's one of the, I love the America First approach. It's made our country so much stronger, but at the same time, it isolates us a little bit, and I don't like how those countries are the ones who are deciding the future of Afghanistan, when I put in so much work, years of my life into Afghanistan, and watched good men die on their soil. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. It is symptomatic that international trade is no longer the engine of economic growth and is experiencing an increasingly heavy burden of protectionism, politically motivated restrictions, and barriers. In other words, our sanctions and things like that, basically things that aren't good for them, that we, strategies that we can put on them. The Russian leader called on members of the BRICS community to unite to tackle protectionist tendencies in world trade and to increasingly use national currencies in international transactions. Now, mind you guys can call anytime you want, but I just got an article on this, and I just want to bring it up. At the same time, Putin noted that member states should also seek to reform the International Monetary Fund in order to increase the influence of developing countries in the organization. The developing economies, Putin said, must take a more proactive role in forming a fair and sustainable global development model. And I actually like that. I think that some of these countries shouldn't just be 100% bailed out. They should figure out some type of, plan. Every country has intelligent people. Find your intelligent people and come up with a plan. At the same time, clear and understandable rules must be created to regulate transnational corporations in order to avoid the monopolization of markets or access to technologies. Russia, he stressed, considers any attempts to destroy the WTO or reduce its role counterproductive as the world slides into trade conflicts. The global economy is being ruled by one-sided dictates, said the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling for reform of the WTO to ensure fair practice and equal rights for all countries. Now you know what they're all getting at there. They're basically saying that, it's not fair how the U.S. can just kind of like slap. But also, this is the big thing I got out of this. Any attempts to destroy the WTO or reduce its role, the World Trade Organization. Now, what's one way to do that? Would it be something with your currency? Something with the Fed? Maybe. We should still focus on the World Trade Organization reform to achieve balanced development of the global economy, and so this growth is open to everyone. By the way, the head of the WTO, whoever they call that, president of the WTO, I don't know what the head of the WTO, he's a Trump guy. Trump put him there. So, for what that's worth. Chinese leader Xi Jinping, meanwhile, singled out protectionism as the source of instability in the global economy, calling for joint efforts to protect WTO members from such risks. Alright, so I got a call here. Anyways, let's just end on this for this story. All this is destroying the global trade order. And that's how they feel, those countries that basically oppose America.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Yeah.
This is the Red Pill News Dispensary. Who are we speaking with?
I was dropped.
I know who it is.
Hey, did you,
Just for everybody else.
You see I put a video out about 15,000 troops being under control of the UN and they're deported over by the Mexican-U.S. border?
Yes. I think I mentioned that in one of my videos, like briefly. But yeah, well, I didn't dig into it too deep. Thought,
basically, if they want to stop the flow of immigrants, they can stop them at the Guatemala-Mexico border.
See, that's what I thought the plan was. I guess they put 6,000 down there or something like that, and they're not even.
They've had just about a 5,000 force altogether, but
yeah,
they
and
put 15,000 underneath control.
And they're not even stopping people. I heard down there at the southern border. It's unbelievable.
Right, and it doesn't make any sense, does it? When you shoot a jug, you put a hole in the entry point, and the exit point you put a plug in. Give me a break.
It makes no sense. I see when I saw like troops to, I'm thinking, okay, so they're gonna go down to the southern Mexican border with, these countries with these Central American countries. But
well,
instead,
exactly, did you pick up the link I put in there for Mexico's president when he gives a little smug speech?
No, I did not.
There's an article there and there's a video there you can watch also.
Is that in the description?
Yeah, show more. I always put links in there for everybody.
Okay, great. I'll check that out. But if you wanna go into
he's
it,
kind of like smug about everything, and it's like, so he's still being a shithead.
really, huh?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it wasn't.
He's doing the minimum effort,
Yeah, maybe it wasn't such a successful deal, as Trump made it out to be.
Right, but what I think really happened today was that you see President Trump was with the president of India.
No.
Prime Minister, and they were talking about trade deals because in the past we've always shafted India and gone with China. So I think that wind's shifting a little bit over there. I think India's going to be picking up more stuff trade with us than China.
I hope so, because lately India has been literally kind of like they've been, and every single time I see Russia, China, Iran, it's Pakistan, and then Pakistan's like their mortal enemy, and then right next to India as well. And I'm like, what's up with that?
And
It's supposed to be our allies.
Yeah, well, India's not part of the cabal over there, that side. So
Yeah.
that's why previous administrations haven't really picked up from India. They've been like punching them. But, there's good and bad in India, you know that, right?
Well, of course. I mean, like any country, right?
Well, there's good and then there's really bad.
Yeah, I know what you mean. yeah. But, yeah.
But, so I was glad to see that we're finally going to actually do more trade with India, because I think we're going to be dealing with a fairer trade deal than we will with China ever. So.
Yeah. And India, but huge partner for trade, potentially.
Well, yeah, I have a friend that used to go there every year on summer vacations when he was in high school, and he's now a liberal professor over there at Berkeley.
Wow,
and
really?
That's what he does, religious cultural studies, right?
Really? Wow.
But, it's all cool,
Well,
man. I get along with everybody. I mean, half my friends are liberals and half of them are diehard Trump fans. So,
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, I don't. You know what Thomas Jefferson said, right? Was it Thomas Jefferson, or I never let a
As far-
friendship...
In regards to what?
Yeah, I never let a friendship over political arguments go away, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, you know what? I think that he probably meant that because in terms of him and John
Thomas
Adams.
Jefferson was somebody else. I forget what
Oh, I was gonna say, it
was.
would make sense if it was Thomas Jefferson, because it was like him and John Adams were very close, and then they became like enemies, and they went their whole life as enemies until they were on their deathbeds.
Right, I got one sister that's a total lib, and then I got another sister who's like a blue dot Democrat. So,
Yeah.
I'm not cutting them out of my life.
But they made up on their deathbeds. They started writing each other and made up. Yeah.
They also probably exchanged letters, who's growing the best dope that year, and did a double dare on that one. They used to do that.
Oh yeah. If you even knew how politics was done back in the day, I mean, like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, half the reason he made it was because he was so tall. He had long reach. They used to like fight. Like one party and another party would show up and they would brawl. They would legit like fight it out.
Well, they used to do that in the streets of New York, They had the Italian, the Irish, and all that stuff going on. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, but we're
it was a
talking
political fight.
we're talking political people like fighting. Like it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
who was it? Who got gunned down in the duel? Remember his name?
Yeah. Burr. Or was it?
Burr killed Hamilton, I think.
Oh, Burr won. He killed Hamilton. Okay, yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but
No, I think it was Hamilton.
it was one of the founding fathers, and then
Yeah.
most people don't realize what those guys went through. They were signing their death warrants when they signed that when they signed the Bill of Rights and all that crap, whatever they did, the Articles of Confederation. When they during the Revolutionary War,
Interesting.
2/3 of them went bankrupt and never recovered.
Wow.
They when they signed that Declaration of Independence, that was a death warrant, and a lot of them lost their butts on it. They 2/3 of them went bankrupt. They were the signers of the Articles, of the Declaration of Independence. Most people don't know that.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think that was?
Well, because they lost their crap. Their stuff got overrun, and they got their everything taken. When you're dealing with a war, the first thing the army does when they come over to your ears, they steal everything that's not held down. That's the way war goes. So their plantations, their farms, and all that other stuff, the probably got overran, and they got everything stolen.
Well, I mean, once we won the war, I know what you mean. Like, as soon as they signed it, like, at that point, they were screwed. Like, that stuff. But once you win the war,
Yeah, but, that stuff didn't come into play about making sure that somebody's taken care of for the public service until, like, almost after World War I, dude, because that's when Congress got together and decided that, hey, we're going to give these guys a pension, okay? We're going to give ourselves a pension. I mean, you serve 2 or 4 years in Congress or the Senate, you automatically are qualified to get a pension, just like an officer gets.
Oh yeah, like let's say Ocasio or AOC there, you know, her
Yeah, we're gonna be
dumbass,
paying for
or
that.
even
We're gonna
Ilhan Omar, you know what I mean? These radicals.
We're going to be paying for them for the rest of our lives.
Exactly, for the rest of our lives, they'll be getting our taxpayer money.
Right, and that didn't occur until after like World War I, when there was one congressman that was so broke, he went bankrupt, that they passed that law so he could get a pension. That's what it was about, taking care of themselves.
Wow, the fact that you mentioned World War I made me think that had something to do with the whole start of the Fed.
Well, you know, that was supposed to be the
1917.
war to end all wars, and it also was one of the pushes of trying to establish the New World Order. That's what it was. Let's not lie about it. That's what it was.
Is that the League of Nations?
Yes, League of Nations started by Roosevelt, Franklin, Democrat, communist.
He was a big-time Mason as well.
Yeah, but you got to realize that.
It's so funny, they were all Masons, right? Roosevelt, what's it called?
Well, here's what concerns me, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
It really bugs me. Okay, I did a video called History for Dummies Part 2. A.M. Solomon, Jew that was the major financier of the
I didn't see. I'd love to see that.
of the Revolutionary War.
I love history stuff, especially like interesting.
Well, him and I forget the other guy's name was some English guy. They were the major financiers and the money funders of the Revolutionary War. Okay, so we would have not won the Battle of Valley Forge and been an independent nation from England if it hadn't been for the Jewish counterparts in this country coming together at the last minute to get supplies, money, and food and arms for the troops. So most people don't know that the Jews actually saved us from losing the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
And Halen Solomon was one of the major money funders that made all the deals along with his counterpart. And it's in that video of mine, and it tells you exactly who these people are. So I can't remember his name was like Green or something like that. Was his last name? I can't remember. The other guy's name was like Green or something. I can't remember. But you know, history is a very important thing for people to learn, and they need to learn history as much as possible.
Yeah. You're right, and history repeats itself, and even just to know, like, to understand how things have come to be the way they are. I mean, it is very important.
Well, one thing that's really annoying to me is, you know, I'm going to vote for Trump again because I don't see anybody on the field of the Democrats that actually is worth crap.
Oh no, I watched it tonight.
Except for probably Gabbard. Gabbard is probably the blue dog Democrat.
Well, yeah, Gabbard. I've always she kind of stuck out to me, even at like the Kavanaugh hearings. Like she was very reserved. She wasn't like a, you know, like a vicious, like POS.
No, she's like a blue dog Democrat, like the old ones.
Yeah.
You know, that were more sensible and reasonable.
Yeah, she'd be one of them. But still,
I think she has enough experience to run the country.
No, and I don't think that she has like the big personality either. These days with social media, I think you need that big personality. I mean,
I don't think she will make it through the first round. Let's put it that way. And Biden's always I'm in Eastern Washington.
She might make it through the first round, just based on, because I think a lot of people see what you're talking about. I saw what you're talking about, so I think a lot of people will see that.
Well, she's a reasonable candidate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You know, female. You know, I can see it.
I don't give a shit about gender. Actually, I don't care.
But you know, if we're talking about electability, you know, they care. You know what I mean? They want.
I think if they ran her, they'd have a better chance than running some old fart like Bernie Sanders, which never had a real full-time job until he became senator. So,
wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, well, I'm dropping some stuff here, I guess.
Wow. They don't call you drop for nothing. I'll tell you that. Wow, that's unbelievable.
Pretty much.
Never had a full-time job until he was in the Senate. Woo!
That's right. And then,
No wonder he's in
full-time job,
favor of
I got it.
socialism.
Well, you know, he stood under Sal Alinsky just like Hillary did.
Yeah.
You know, they're all the same. And I don't watch the clown show in the debates because I'm kind of like Rush Limbaugh. You know, where he said, I can already tell what they're going to say. And I don't even need to watch it because I'm already going to see the highlights and I'm going to hear everything they're going to say. You know, it's like, yeah, well, I'm right there with Rush on that one.
Yeah, pretty true. Yeah, that's how I felt with the first one. And I just basically, like, literally, that's true. I went right through. It was like winners and losers and why. And I went through winners, why, and I kind of got it. Losers, why, and I basically got it. And it basically gave me all the info I needed. With this one, you know, there was nothing on, so I put it on. And it was just, ugh. I don't see it. I don't see it.
One of the, Joe Biden ain't going to get even 1% of the vote like usual, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter.
usually the front runner in the beginning never wins. And when it's a big field.
I don't know, man. The first time that Trump announced that he was running, it's like he was number one already. The minute he said it, you know.
Was he? I thought it was
Oh no, the first
Ben Carson or
the first
Cruz.
primary that jumped alarm. I mean, Trump was like number one, right?
I didn't for some reason I thought he kind of grew.
It
He
didn't
was
take
like
more than 2 weeks
he was
to
always like
move
number
at all.
2. Yeah, he was like number 2 for a while. I know that. I think it was either Cruz or Ben Carson, one of them.
Well, it was Ben Carson. I mean, honestly, Ben Carson's an excellent man. He's just very quiet spoken.
Great man,
and
just
probably,
doesn't exactly rile up the base. Yeah.
no, he's learned to be reserved, and he's a very quiet spoken person. But he's
Yeah.
very analytic and very thoughtful. And if you've watched some of the interviews, like a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
he just tore the shit out of the reporter and did it very nicely and smiled.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
In a very in a very subdued, but at the same time with words like
Right,
kind of
it
like
was
lift
all
them
on the
up.
HUD stuff.
Yeah,
It was all on
yeah.
HUD, you know.
Yeah, and even during the election, I mean, Trump said like the only one he didn't really go after was Ben Carson, but he went after him a little bit only because he had to, because Carson was then at this point Trump is number 1, and Carson was number 2, so he had to kind of go at him, but he said, you know, he basically kind of said like I don't really like going after him, you know what I mean? Like I don't really want to. I like the guy. I mean, and he really meant what he said. He ended up in his cabinet.
Right. But all in all, you know, honestly, I can't see any of the Democratic clowns coming
Me
forward.
either.
And I see that even the Democrats and the independents that voted for Trump are still going to vote for him. I still am on the pick with them about Israel because I didn't vote for him to promote Israel. I mean, it's fine that we get along, but Israel's not our friend. They're not our friend. I'm serious about that one. You know that for a fact.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, it's pretty obvious,
I mean,
right?
they double-crossed us so many times without even.
Oh yeah, they're trying to push us into war, that to benefit them. You know, if we take out Iran, that's their last, like, you know, real threat in the Middle East.
Well, we talked about two cabals, right? Remember? In a private conversation.
Oh yeah, the private, and then also there are 2 cabals. Yep.
So you got team I and you got team what would we call that 5-star city over there in the Middle East somewhere in Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
That's your other group. That's your other cabal. And so the Bushes and the Clintons and all them have been on that Kazakhstan 5-star city cabal, and we're looking at the I cabal. So I'm using a little bit of code word so we don't get in trouble.
No, I got you.
And-
Good job.
And so we're looking at, you know, a fight between both of them. One wants to start a war because they're desperately in trouble, and the other one doesn't because they're not in trouble. So it works.
I totally get it. It makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
So, but the I cabal
Yep.
is the one that actually is doing the censorship. They control 90% of the censorship AI stuff on the internet. So they want to shut you up and control you.
Yeah.
The other one wants to bust it loose and just make it, you know, plain they want to find order out of chaos after they blow everything up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're on a teeter-totter. You know, remember the playgrounds where we sat on one side and the other
Yep.
side? You know, make sure you got the fattest kid and let him sit on the end of it so you can just flip him off the end onto his head, you know, when you did a maneuver, right? Yeah, you played those games, right?
All the time. Yeah, I had one at the park where I grew up. You know, I don't want to say where, but you know, in Boston, a certain neighborhood in Boston that people watch any movies. The local park.
I see numbers and I see addresses all the time when I get up without.
Yeah.
It's like.
But yeah, so yeah, that the park, the local park had one of those. Yep. But yeah, I know exactly the metaphor you're saying as well.
Yeah, but you know, when people say Israel's God's chosen people, I just don't get into religious arguments because they're so entrenched in their stuff that they. I put it this way: I believe in the Father. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the most important relationship to me. Is I know that there is the Father. I don't believe. I know. There's a difference between knowing and believing. Trust me.
Huh. That's deep.
And we've had that conversation before too. You know.
We have.
Privately.
We have.
Yes. And so people can believe whatever they want. They can be any religion as long as they understand that there is something beyond this world, and we're not going to just disappear once we die. That's all they really need to know. That's the comfort they should have.
I mean, I hope that if there's anyone out there, they heard what you just said. If you wanna, I don't want you to make you have to repeat yourself, but if you could say that one more time, because that's very important.
I know I don't believe that there is actually a different self of awareness, and that there is the Father. Period. And I don't want to get into religion because one side says they're right, the other side says they're right. I don't care if you're Christian, Jew, Muslim, or whatever.
Yeah.
There's truth in every religion in the world. And there is no one path, in my opinion. But, you know, that's other people's opinions. So I don't want to get into religion too hard because people get into political and ideology divisiveness. And, you know, that's the problem with what we have right now going on in the world. There's too much divisiveness. And that divisiveness is the actual wedge that's going down through the middle of people's ability to think beyond, you know, a simple thing. You know, are you happy? Do you have a good life? Do you love your friends and your family? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying my I just
and by
want
the way,
to
the Trinity.
I want to make sure
Trinity
that
actually. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just making sure we're live while you're talking, just so you know.
I
yeah,
didn't mean to
live now.
interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure we're live.
Right,
We are. Okay. Go
As
ahead.
far as what I think about the Trinity, there's been reparations replays over and over in every religion for thousands of years, probably more than 30,000 years, because we know that those megaliths didn't get created by this civilization. You know that, right?
Say that one more time.
And the megaliths in the world
Yes.
did not get created.
No.
by
There was civilization. No, I believe that
We also know
Noah
about
before
several-
Noah. Put it that way.
We also know about several tunnels going from continent to continent, within
Yeah.
the continents and everything else too, that predate this civilization.
Yes.
Now, some of them have been created by us, but moreover, they've been used for thousands of years. So this civilization is not the first civilization on this planet.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah, 'cause you know
I
what the
totally
bridge
agree
between
with that. I mean,
North America and Asia, right? You know, the one about that goes from America to Europe. You know about those, right?
from America to Europe?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's one from North America to Russia. How do you think these people pop up so easily?
Oh, from North America to
Oh,
Russia. Okay, yeah. To that way. Okay. I just didn't know about. I thought you meant like from North America to
Yeah, there's
France.
tunnels in London. They don't even know where the hell they came from. They just found recently.
Wow. See, that type of stuff fascinates me. It really does. And I really do think that there were giants on the earth. I really do think, that I believe see, some people, at some point, people started saying that the Bible is like, stories and metaphors to live by. And, when I was young, I was like real young, like too young to know anything. And, I kind of went with that. And as time has gone, I realized, no, these are real events that really happen. And
Well, I would term the Bible as more of not only history, but actually, how can I say this so it doesn't offend anybody? It actually is a record of events, maybe not the way we want them to. And people said there's truth and wisdom in there, and I believe that too. But there's also evil in there.
yeah.
How can you have an angry God when it's a loving God? There's two or three gods in there. And you look at every religion and the writings and stuff like that, and it's just really, really, you look at religion that's been transpired. You're looking at Christian religion 2,000 years. You're looking at the Muslim religion, which has been around since ancient Chinese. Actually, the Chinese came up with that one. It's actually...
Oh, really? See, for some reason I thought it was post-dated.
No, Muhammad did not find a new religion and get some grant, whatever.
Okay, so as far as like the Muhammad and all that, that's after, Christ, obviously.
Muhammad was actually illiterate. He had to have scribes write down everything for him,
But that basically, like, the basis of that religion was actually goes back to like ancient Chinese. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it actually came out of China.
Wow.
Islam did.
Wow.
It predated, but it wasn't very popular. The Christian religion wasn't very popular for 200 or 300 years after the death of supposedly Jesus Christ or Zoo.
Wow. There's a few people. One being a mod. I can't wait for him to hear some of this.
Christ for over almost 200 years after his death. So.
What did they call him? What did they call him at that point? Before that?
Well, I guess they were called Christians or whatever, but actually, the Jews were actually polythesis and monothesis as far as their religion. In fact, some of them actually worship Bahamut.
Huh.
Just like the Hittites did,
Yeah. And then,
there's not much of a distinguishability between the two, and I've watched some videos on this and read some stuff, and it's not so clear-cut of line of who's a Semite and who's not.
Yeah.
So, you got the Aryans, the Semites. The Aryan race is mostly Turkey and stuff that comes across there, but most people don't know that the people that actually live in Turkey now actually migrated from Eastern Asia over there in China.
Wow.
Blows your mind, right? You look at migrations of people. There's always been migrations of people across the world. So right now we're in trouble with the Grand Solar Minimum, so people are migrating. They're running to wherever they think is a safe place, where they can get food, feed their families, and stuff like that. And you can't blame these people for trying to come over.
No, and that's why you never hear me blame them. I just wish there was a better system in place than them having to cross rivers and have children die day after day after day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Because when I look at that video, when I looked at that picture you showed me, all I could think about was that the worshippers of Bahamut are very happy because somebody died, because they misled them, and they told them truths and untruths.
Exactly, and you know that they were fed a bunch of propaganda where they're coming from.
Yeah, actually, let me fill you in. West Virginia Prepared Mind. Jesus was actually, he wasn't called Jesus because there is no J in the Jewish thing. But after his father died, his uncle Joseph came and got him and married and took them to South Wales in Glastonbury. And he taught Jesus how to be a mine because his uncle was very rich. He owned lead and tin mines. And so he learned how to mine. He learned a lot of other things from his uncle Joseph, which was also his father's name, Joseph.
Are we talking like the lost years of Jesus?
Yes, and Jesus was actually, and also his Uncle Joseph was
Did you say
also,
South Wales, or did I
March.
mishear you? Because I was like, what?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, actually, he planted the thorn tree there that bloomed twice a year, and some idiot cut it down like 5 years ago.
Wow.
You know, the royal family used to use that thorn tree because it bloomed twice a year, which is the only one that did it in England, as far as I know.
Really? It's the only one? Wow, that tells you something right there. It's the
Well,
only
they
one
actually have a representation of the place where the house that Jesus and Mary lived in.
Wow. Mary,
You know, 'cause
Mary,
uh,
his mother, or
Mary's mother, yes. Joseph, his Uncle Joseph, Jesus' Uncle Joseph, was actually a merchant and a miner. So he was a very educated man. He was very rich. And when his mother died, Joseph came over and got them and took them back to South Wales because that was his home base where he had the mines and everything else. And he taught Jesus about mining, which made him very analytic. He learned mathematics and stuff. So,
wow.
and they also took the lead and tin and trade that over there in Palestine, or what you call today's modern Israel and stuff like that.
Basically, yeah.
And so most people don't know about the life of Jesus after, his father was a carpenter, and he was like 50 years old, and then next you got the full-grown Jesus over there preaching the gospel. Well, his Uncle Joseph is the one that actually fostered all this stuff after his father died. Most people don't know this.
I had no idea. It's in the Bible?
Why is it? It's not in the Bible. It's omitted.
Oh, I was gonna say, because it's not. Yeah, it seems like they call him the lost years of Jesus, and I just thought there was
it actually is the lost years of Jesus. A guy did it back in like 72 or 76. Did a whole video thing on this thing.
Wow, that's interesting.
Extremely
interesting.
It's very believable because he actually goes there and shows you the actual artifacts and shows you the actual things and everything else.
Wow.
In fact, I think I actually downloaded and saved it.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of like it's swept under the rug and nobody watches it.
Wow.
Now,
and so many people would be interested to watch it if they actually knew what it meant.
Matt, why is somebody such a young kid and then there's like 25 years of your life missing?
I know. I never understood that part. I'm like, so what did he do? Did he not understand, like...
I don't know, maybe he was in prison, I don't know.
You know what I mean? I was wondering, like, did he not, like, did he not realize, who he was for all that time? I mean, you think he had to have, right? Because even when he was a young boy, he was down there kind of preaching.
Read the Bible, when he went out to the desert to fast for 40 days, remember that?
Yeah.
I think that's when he truly found out that he was truly who he was, and that's when he was endowed with all his powers.
Oh, and that's why maybe.
If you think about it, now I'm not gonna argue with religious scholars, but in my opinion, I told you about the civil dreams I had when I was 9 years old, and then I didn't realize until later that they were actually going to happen, and that
Yes, you did. It was amazing. Amazing.
Right. So I don't think we're always, like I said, you read about Enki and Enlil, and you look at Enki, and he wanders this world until he actually realizes and wakes up and realizes who he truly is. And that's in the legend of those, of the Anunnaki. And he relives his life over and over again. So maybe, Jesus did the same thing. I don't know. That's just kind of a conspiracy to throw out there.
Yeah. So let me get that clear. So that he kind of like can you repeat that? I want to make sure I got that right.
Well, actually, some of the videos I've watched about the Anunnaki and Enki and stuff like that is the Enki actually gets reborn with man every cycle with man, and he actually goes through and doesn't know who he is until he actually relearns it, and it just hits him in the head.
Wow.
So, a lot of interesting things, but there's a lot of mythology that is not mythology. There's a lot of stuff that isn't. I actually found out there was unicorn unicorns like 23,000 years ago. There's actual fossils of them, and there's a
Fossil of
unicorn creature.
unicorns. Wow.
Yeah, actually, I found that about a couple of years ago. So I've been doing lots of
23,000 years ago? I'm trying to think. So
yeah, something like that. 23 or 43,000, like that.
Wow.
I kind of do a lot of stuff like John Hope does. I kind of research stuff and I just put it in the back of my mind. And of course, I'll record my own stuff and put it in an archive you wouldn't want to know about. But, you know, I do research. I like history. I like to, you know, figure out things. But one thing I do know that the Father is real. Okay, I don't believe I know. So anybody that tells you that
Same here.
there's not, yeah, exactly. You can't dissuade me from that. I don't really care about if you're a Protestant, Catholic, that you a Muslim, a Christian, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
yourself.
the religions don't matter. I have like I call it a walking, talking relationship with God. You know?
Well, you know, the
With the
Hindus
Father.
believe that the Hindus have many gods, and they believe that they're aliens, for Christ's sakes. And their religion's older than most of the religions on the face of the planet.
Wow.
You know, they believe in, you know, Shiv and the three gods.
Yeah.
They have their own
Shiva
Trinity gods.
Yep.
They
Right.
have
What
their own
is it?
Trinity gods.
Destruction.
And that's repeated over and over again, like ISIS
Yeah.
is repeated over and over again with the Trinity gods.
Yep. And the Trinity would be the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. In Christianity.
Yeah, or it could be Shivas or whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
the Hindus have their own version of the three gods, and there's actually 9 gods that they talk about, and so does the Anunnaki and everybody else. You know, you got Enlil, you got Enki, and you got the mother, and then you got the son of the mother that was reconstituted, whatever, blah blah blah. You still have the repeating factor of a trinity.
There's some other repeating factors as well, like a.
I can tie this down real quick if you want me to.
Good. Yeah.
Nikola Tesla said, all you need to know is 3, 6, and 9.
I've heard that
If you
before.
take the 3 from the 9 and put it there, you got 666, and you got the triangle, you got the vortex, and you got the actual magic formula to the actual consciousness to move forward, like the Star of David, the Seal of Solomon, which is what the symbol is. The Seal of Solomon is the same Star of David that you have on the reserve leaf flag, 369.
Wow. See, I've heard people talk about the 9-3, and they leave out the 6, and it's called like the 9-3 Society, all kinds of stuff like that. And
All you need to know is 3, 6, and 9. Nikola Tesla.
yeah,
And actually, when you get to that point, the point is he was trying to make was that we actually have a consciousness, which we call a spirit, and our bodies.
you there? Drop. The phone's still on. Drop. Hello? What the hell? Alright, hold on. Let me try calling him again. Oh, so it's going straight to voicemail. His phone must have died. I can't believe how little are watching now. But I can guess why. Yep, my guess is correct. So, yeah. Wow. It's kind of like a slap in the face. Okay. Nothing. Not about drop. I think his phone died. I just tried to call back, and it went straight to voicemail. But I can't believe this is the lowest amount of view, but it's because of someone that came on at the same time somehow. Alright guys, so you know what? I gotta be up early anyways. I'm just gonna say, yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. That was amazing. Seriously, that was great. Yeah, it looks like we have a very small crowd anyway, because someone's live right now. That obviously people would rather be over there. Oh really? I tried calling you back and it went straight to voicemail. So the phone's fine? That's weird, because I just tried calling you back. I heard your voicemail. I'm not going to say what it says, but it kind of says something funny, where you don't even bother doing something. Yeah, I just tried to call back, straight to voicemail. But what's weird is if it died, you would have just went away right away. Whereas I could still see us connected, just your voice went away. And then I try to call back. Yeah, there was the rewind. Yeah. Oh, we both tried to call at the same time. Oh, I got you. Well, if you want to call back, go ahead. I just wish there was more of an audience right now. But, like you said, they'll probably watch the rewind. Yeah, that exactly. I didn't want to put you in, but yeah, that's what it said. No, I know. I'm talking to him in chat. Thank you, Master Q. Yeah, I'm talking to him through chat. That's what I'm responding to. Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't. My name is Bah, and I don't even listen to voicemail. But if you want to call back, I love hearing what you have to say. But if you feel like it's too small of an audience, alright, we'll save more for you. Alright. So tomorrow I'll be live also. I'll do a call-in show. It was so good to hear from you, Drop. I haven't heard from you in a while. And I just want to thank everybody who tuned in and everybody who stuck around most of all. Those I want to thank the most. So Master Q, What's Your Prepared Mind, Teresa Valencia, Louis Moon. I want to thank you guys. Next time, yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, you can. Just give me a shout out. Alright, so yeah, of course you can. Yeah, no problem. So, alright guys, next time you guys are out there and you're looking for your Pez, stop by the Red Pill News Dispensary. If you're new here, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe. If you're not sure, trust me, check out the videos and I'm sure you'll come to that conclusion anyways. Please hit the thumbs up button. That helps get this video out to people, especially when they'd rather go and watch something else, which is fine. Everybody can do what they want, but I'm sure that a lot of people will see this afterwards because people do enjoy this show. Alright guys, I want to thank you again, and please have a great night, and God bless to each and every one of you. And a special thanks to the one mod who was here. Thank God. I was worried I wasn't going to have a mod. So thank you, West Virginia. And Drop, always, thank you. And great call, as always. And my answer to your question is yes. Just shout out the channel or something. That's it. Alright guys, have a great night. and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Okay? Be safe, keep your head in the swivel,